Are you wondering what you can do when you find yourself in that messy heap at the bottom of the stress slide and you are neck deep in overwhelm? In this episode of Let's Chat, I'm going to share what you can do to cope with overwhelm. And I reckon some of these stress management ideas might be a little different to what you've heard before for what to do when you're feeling overwhelmed. By the end of this video, you will have a deeper awareness and understanding of what and why your body is doing what it does when you're overwhelmed with too much to do or you've been working too much. I'm going to provide some simple activities that will help you to get your body through this stress response first. Then we'll look at how to stop feeling overwhelmed and how you can baby step through the brain fog using my Overwhelm First Aid Kit. So if you want to go from being stuck under the doona, feeling like you can't do anything, through to having a simple plan to take those first action steps, this video is for you. And if you do see value in this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It makes such a huge difference for me. This video is part 3 of a series focusing on overwhelm. And as a bit of a recap, in part 1, I shared the fundamental difference between stress overload and overwhelm. I focused on what everyday stress looks like when it turns into overwhelm for you and how you as a super giver might react or respond in both the short and long term. I also explained what your stress responses can look like. These are the 4 Fs: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And I offered you the 4 Fs stress response reference tool to download. In part 2, I shared how you can prevent sliding into overwhelm with 8 fundamental life lessons that I use to bolster me when the curveballs arrive, or when it just feels like there's too much going on for this little old people pleaser. I offered my free 8 tips to prevent overwhelm download, outlining those lessons for you to refer back to as well. So all the links to the videos and downloads are in the description box below if you'd like to check them out. This part 3 video is focusing on what you can do when you're overwhelmed and how to improve mental health and body health. You have now moved from being overloaded and feeling a bit stressed. You've gone past being stressed out, but still managing to be able to do something. Now, though, you're at the point where the shades are being drawn. You're closing down and feeling unable to function. There is just too much work, too much of everything coming in for you to be able to process, manage, release, or clear out. Life as you know it is overwhelming. And when this happens, it can feel like you are swamped, drowning, snowed under, inundated, buried, clogged, saturated, and defeated. Have you ever felt like that? I know I have. Too many things needing my attention and too few hours in the day to get to them. This kind of overload causes the stress response I talked about in part 1. When you find yourself in that state, it's important that you are aware that this is a completely natural, hardwired biological response to the stress. This is what your body is designed to do, and it's governed by a tiny region in your brain called your hypothalamus. It sets off an alarm, and then through a series of nerve and hormonal signals, your body responds. This effectively opens a stress response loop that will need to be closed later on when the stressor passes to complete the stress response. If we weren't such tame and domesticated creatures, we would know how to do this closing or completing process naturally, just like a gazelle does after a near miss with a lioness. You can close your open stress loops by adopting some of the behaviors and strategies modeled by our animal friends. So I encourage you to try some of the following and let me know in the comments what works for you. So first off, shift focusing on the ruminating thoughts in the mind into satisfying the more primal needs of your body. So shake it out. Wave your hands, stamp your feet, swing your arms and legs. You could try breathe the 4 for 4. Breathe in deeply into your diaphragm, in through your nose for 4 counts, and then out through your mouth for 4 counts. Go barefoot to feel different textures and temperatures directly and become really grounded to the earth. Make guttural noises or sounds, yells, sighs, groans, humphs, and humphs. Get outside. Experience the sun, wind, rain, noises, smells, and tastes of the outdoors. The second way I would suggest is to decrease the input of stimulation. So turn off the visuals of your screens or simply close your eyes to them. Turn down the volumes around you or wear noise-cancelling headphones. Still your body with rest or sleep. Get into nature and connect with animals. The third thing I'd like to suggest is to drink water. Your body is made up of about 60% water. Dehydration leads to higher cortisol levels. This is the stress hormone. You don't want to be helping its production right now. So drink up. The fourth thing is to participate in body movement that can trigger release. So things like active exercise like running, cycling, or gardening. Rough and tumble play with kids, partners, or in a game of sport. Sexual activity. Dynamic energy meditations or embodiment dancing. All of these suggestions that I've given you will help to complete what is often a backlog of stress in your body. Be aware that it'll probably take more than one go if you're overwhelmed. The next point I want to make is that you understand that while it feels like a lot now, this too shall pass. So one way to support that is to do the notice, allow, accept, and repeat until gradually you'll feel the resistance or discomfort ebb or fall away. And you do this by noticing what is happening and what you're experiencing. Allow that to be okay. It is happening and you are experiencing this. Accept that in this moment and then follow its journey. So notice again what's happening. What's your experience? Allow that to be okay and accept that in this new moment and so on. Notice, allow, accept, and follow. It can be helpful to recognize and find the things within your control that feel accessible in the moment. Small things are great. Often, small things can have a big impact on turning things around. Just think of the tugboats turning the big ships. Choosing one small thing to tweak or alter can make you feel differently about yourself. Acknowledge reducing overwhelm can feel overwhelming in and of itself, and that's okay. You didn't whoosh all the way down to the bottom of this slide overnight. What I want you to realize is that you don't ever have to try and clamber all the way back up the slide the same way you came down. All you need to do is to be able to get up and walk a short distance away from it for now. This is where my Overwhelm First Aid Kit download comes in handy. It's out of my One of Many toolkit, and it has helped thousands of women all over the world with what to do when overwhelmed. I've put the link in the description box, but here's a brief rundown of the 10 steps. Now, please note, you don't have to do this on your own. Call a friend or a buddy and share that you are not doing okay and you could use some help. People pleasers need people to support them too. It might take a few goes to work through all the steps. Be okay with that. You are overwhelmed. Don't let this add to your burden. But do trust when you get through it, you will have a first action steps plan for getting back to a functioning level of managing your everyday stress once more, as well as having a handy tool to complement your prevention strategies that I spoke of in part 2. So the Overwhelm First Aid Kit is a first response technique designed to triage you now and then get you through the next few days or up to a week or so. Step 1, stop. Recognize that you've hit overwhelm and you are not functioning. Take a nap, have a sleep if you really need to, and try to complete some stress loops if you can. Then make a cuppa and grab a notebook and pen. Step 2, do a big brain dump. Get everything out of your head and captured safely into your notebook, not on a scrap of paper that you won't be able to find later when you need it. Trigger alert! You are not going to do everything on this list, but all that stuff is taking up too much valuable real estate in your head, so get it out of there. Step 3, put the list aside and rest again for a bit longer. Try to get grounded and more relaxed. Closing those stress loops, like I shared before, will help with this. Then just allow any last few thoughts to surface and write them down. Step 4, do a best friend ditch. Actually use a best friend for this, or you can pretend to be one for yourself and cross off the things that are not life-threatening or critically important right now. That's the important piece. Remember, this is in the now. It's for the next few days up to a week or so. Step number 5 is do a best friend delegate. So while you're with your BFF, or as you're pretending to be her, highlight some of the tasks you could hand over or ask for help with. Now, try not to get caught up in the martyrdom way of thinking that there is only you to have to do everything. I see you. Step 6, do a Queen of Calm and Serenity, refocus on the big picture. Bring your awareness to what is most important in your life right now. Step 7, do a Queen of Calm and Serenity prioritization of the next few days up to a week. What A absolutely must get done. What would be nice, but no one will die if it doesn't happen. And what C, could be done if there's any time over. Give the remaining tasks on your list an A, B, or C rating. Step 8, time to put the list aside again and make tea. You've got a plan emerging. Give it time to bud. So go replenish and relax for a bit. Because step 9 is to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Look at your A list, what absolutely must get done in the next few days up to a week, and prioritize what must happen first, and either schedule it into your calendar or do it. Then when your A's are done and completely dusted, and not before, move on to your B's and do the same thing. Then, if you have time and bandwidth, move on to your C's. And then step 10 is to celebrate the wins and take mini breaks along the way, because some elephants are bigger than others. And remember, you are still in recovery. One of the most common things I see when you get to the prioritizing and doing steps that I'd like to warn you about is to make sure you're thinking at the next action task level and not at the higher project level. It's very different to write organize birthday celebration for next Saturday on your list rather than make guest list, make drinks list, make food list. Can you see that organizing a birthday celebration is a big project? But making a list of food you want to eat is a smaller and more doable next action. Make sense? Now, for ongoing everyday management, I would love to help you build sustainable systems, rituals, and routines for your day-to-day. So let me know if that's something that appeals to you. I like to think I'm off the overwhelm cycle. It really is only the exception rather than the rule for me these days. I'd love that to be true for you too. I truly hope you got value from this episode of Let's Chat about how to recognize and cope with overwhelm, part 3. And if you'd like to get updated when a new episode is released, and to also really help me grow this channel, I'd love you to click the subscribe button. If you'd like any help preventing overwhelm or how to cope with stress, managing your own responses to the changes of your everyday tasks and activities, or maybe building up your resilience threshold, let me know. I have my Truly Deeply You program coming out really soon. This is where we can get right into all this great stuff. And if you get on my TDY wait list, you'll be the first to hear about it when it does. Because with all my heart, I want you to be able to use your voice, make your stand, and live your life your way with confidence and without guilt. So click the TDY waitlist link in the description box below. Thanks for staying to the end, and I trust I'll see you again really soon, at least for the part 4 wrap up.